When a man is surrounded, he will fight to survive. Finding themselves 10 within the endless multitudes, the first turned in unison on the showdown, and the galaxy was shaken to its core by the ensuing destruction on both sides. Entire civilizations, planets, and the stars themselves brought to bear against the hive mind-guided hordes that sought to strip the galaxy of life as the locust consumes the field. When the final showdown retreated back into dark space, there was a brief moment of sober reflection as the remaining 6, 3 of the matriarch and 3 of the immortal, looked out over what they had wrought within the firmament and swore a sacred pact of mutual non-interference in their home galaxy before removing themselves from the simple lives of the peoples they had so greatly disrupted, following the example of the long-vanished immortal and the path of the showdown as they ventured out into the universe to thus far unknown ends. And so the firmament grew quiet once again, the shaken civilizations once more sending out questing routes in the beginnings of what would become the Confederacy. Time passes, the stars revolving in their endless dance throughout space as civilization grows and spreads. His origin is unknown, as is his age, the wanderer from between the stars known simply as the tradesman. Bringing with him vast depths of cunning, guile and charm, the rise of the man was subtle to begin. Starting with his acquisition of a series of satellite trading posts he positioned amongst the different empires, republics and independent systems that had caught his attention during his travels, marking the first steps of mainline trading into the galaxy, providing secure neutral havens for commerce, both legal and otherwise, for a modest fee, in time branching out into transportation and security services via the forces of what would become the 12 Endurant. With this foothold he began to extend his reach, obtaining exclusive highly sought-after transport rights and providing the highest quality of safety for their customers' goods and the customers themselves, meanwhile quietly moving through the back rooms of many worlds, acquiring different bases of manufacturing, agriculture and scientific study to further his goal of unification. As mainline trading grew in subtle leaps and bounds, moving to their planet-side headquarters on the newly resettled world of Makar, another opportunity presented itself. First contact was made with the people of Avella Prime, the Aval, and their leaders, the Primus and the Seer. A proud race of noble warriors hailing from a home world that would have quickly devoured most of the peoples they met, the Aval were a deeply spiritual and honor-bound people with ancient ties to the land. Placing their ancestors in high regard, they valued both the strength of one's arm and the restraint to know when it was unnecessary. Led by the Primus, a title passed on by full agreement of the enlightened that oversaw spiritual matters, as well as the council that represented the different noble family bloodlines and those of the other castes, be they warrior, scientist, crafter, merchant, artist, or worker, all were represented, and could have grievances heard in fair order. The seer was a being of a different order, the first and likely last of the title that had been granted when her full mental and mystical abilities manifested at an unusually young age even for her people, who regularly produced psychics and mages and could more often than not be relied on to have what the Aval referred to as the ancestor's blessing, a state of heightened awareness that allowed for uncannily fast reactions. But this blessing came with its own curse, the matriarch's blight. All Aval, from the lowest to the highest, weakest to strongest, coward to hero, were born with an inherent berserker state held to be one result of experiments performed on Avella Prime and the people themselves by the sorceress queen in ancient days. The seer herself had prompted the contact, prophesying a glorious future for her people before seeking out the tradesman on her own with offers of alliance backed by the Primus, enlightened, and council all, which were readily accepted. Thus the first days of the Confederacy of Worlds began. Bolstered by the might of the Aval forces added to his own already considerable employ under his 12 loyal compatriots, the tradesman and seer took Makar for their own and made the first smiling ventures to other worlds and governmental bodies, finding many receptive and happy to join their people to the newcomers. Those who refused were given a single year of their own reckoning to reconsider before the Aval and the 12 descended like an unrelenting wave, taking prisoners where they could as honor and order dictated. Soon resistance crumbled as word spread along the ways, and the Confederacy of Worlds came to encompass roughly a third of the galactic disk, including human, Aval, Corsican, Sendrathi, Brumac, and others.